First, I just want to say I'm using my project from last semester to present my project. And also something I forgot to mention last talk was that the original big, the README now includes my fork, which has markdown, golden ratio, and centering of the text instead of his weird hacker presentations. So I thought that was really cool. So quick, let me talk about passcode. I started it over the summer, and I did it for the first few weeks this fall semester, and then I put it on the App Store. And then I got a lot more downloads than I expected, a lot more response than I expected. So I put my original project, Sonar, on the shelf and picked up passcode. So I had over 1,000 downloads in a month, which was way more than I thought. If you have an iOS app, definitely put it on the App Store. You get a lot more people responding and emailing you and asking about stuff. So I thought that was really cool. I received great reviews and positive feedback. And I got a lot of questions through email, through Twitter, of how it works and how they should use it. And it's hard to explain because it's very, very simple, but it's much different than most people have ever used. So people don't usually generate passwords, they usually have a set password. So what I want to do is work on a better way to explain what it is. Currently, the only way that the only current way of finding out what it is through the app description or navigating to my website, which is all through the App Store. But once you open up the app, it kind of presents you with a domain and password. How do you use it? So I want to make a tutorial in the beginning explaining what it is, how to use it on your sites, etc. So I'm going to work on frequently asked questions in the tutorial. I've also added the ability to email me directly and to write reviews within the app. It's also now a universal app, so it works on iPad and iPhone. So it loads a slightly different view controller for iPad. And I've actually gotten requests for different languages. So I learned a lot about how iOS works with localizations. So if you have any questions like that, you should definitely talk to me. So I'm using a system string app, which converts commonly used words like about or done or okay to different languages, which makes it really, really easy to just put in a whole bunch of different languages in your app. And I'm also trying out this cool framework called KIF, which stands for Keep It Functional. And it's an automatic iOS testing framework. So it takes advantage of the accessibility in the iOS simulator, and it fakes touch events to navigate through your app. So you can use this to create different scenarios and test previous parts of your work and make sure they still work when you're working on other parts of it. So yeah, I forked that, and I also added a whole bunch of methods to deal with UI text fields, stuff that I needed. So definitely check that out if you're using iOS. So universal apps, localization, automated testing. So I'm just going to show you I'm sure most of you are familiar with passcode, but this is what it looks like on iPhone. You type in a domain, so for example, GitHub, and then my password, which none of you know, is down below. And then I'll click generate, and it copies it to my clipboard on my iPhone. Now I could go and open up Safari and navigate to GitHub, and then log in. And since it's in my clipboard, you never have to see your password. Nobody can be looking over your shoulder and see what your password is, and signed in. It's pretty simple. I also want to show you what KIF looks like. So basically you create a whole bunch of different scenarios to type in certain text, to delete certain text, to click on things, wait for certain views to come in and out of view. And when you run it, it just runs through a whole bunch of scenarios that you put up. So for example, if you have a bigger app, bigger than this, you can test a whole bunch of cool things, and every time you build, you can make sure previous things still work. And then, of course, once it's finished, it stops and tells you if there's any failures. it's really cool. It won't, it won't let you move on without telling you that there's failures with other parts of your app. So now back to my real app, Sonar. Unfortunately, I had to put it on the side to finish working on passcode for a little while. But I figured I'd show you what it is first. So it is a way of reporting bugs to Apple. So the traditional way of doing this is through their web interface, which is not very friendly. So I've worked on a native Mac app to do that. So here's what it looks like. You have a whole bunch of bugs listed here. These are fake. I can't show you real bugs. And then it has the title, the state, product, summary, etc. You can leave notes. You can reply to stuff. So I'm just going to create a new issue. I won't actually submit it because I don't have a real bug to report. So, so if something doesn't work on some app for iPhone, and then you can go over to product, iPhone, iOS 6, and it's a UI bug, and I can only get it to work sometimes. And then you can write a summary, some steps to reproduce it, things that you expect to work and what actually happens, and then you go and submit it. So right now it's not actually going to submit it to Apple, but it'll just save it locally. And then stuff like ID is not determined until after it's been submitted. So this is what it looks like. I could leave a note. That's pretty cool. So basically, when it will submit, it opens up a web view and automatically fills out some forms using JavaScript. And unfortunately, that's the only way it's able to be done. So I'll just show you what that kind of looks like. Right now, it's just running through a scenario of me logging in. It's very, very slow. So that's kind of what it looks like. That's about it. So thank you, Morthy, Sean O'Sullivan, and RCOS. And is there any questions?
So more downloads, right? So how many languages you are trying to do?
Right now there's like 3 that I'm like really strong in. Or like I have people who know me like about for like the frequently asked questions and stuff. But for the other like short words like done, okay, and stuff, maybe like 10 or 15. I noticed you can track where your downloads have been through the App Store, and I was actually surprised how many were outside of the United States. I assume this was just going to be like my friends downloading it, but there's a lot of other people downloading it. So I'm hoping that more languages will open up.
I'm pretty sure you talked about it last time, but how are you generating the passwords, the passcode?
It uses SHA-256, so it takes the domain and your master password and runs it through SHA-256.
Do you have to enter in your master password every time you use the app?
No, you enter it
like
once.
per session?
Well, it saves it securely in iOS's keychain, so you don't have to type in more than once. But there also is. I'll show you. So you can turn that off, so that way every time you launch the app.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was going to say, either like, what happens if I get my phone stolen, or what happens if I lose my phone?
That's weird. Well, I just encountered a bug. I will fix that.
I hear there's a really nice iOS bug report.
Any other questions?
What happens if I forget my password, which happens all the time?
If you forget your master password? Well, the idea is that you only have one password to remember. Hopefully you'll remember that. If you don't remember it, hopefully you'll save it in here. And I have to remember it. Unfortunately, we still have to deal with that.
Yeah, alright, cool.
Sorry.
Is there a way to use this? This is on like a portable device.
Yeah.
Is there a way to have it display the generated password so that you can use a portable device to generate passwords for a computer?
Yeah. So there is other ways of doing it on your computer. For example, there's a Safari extension. There's also a website. So if I want to do I don't want to generate a password that you guys can actually use. That's my password for ASDF, ASDF.com. if you want to log in there. That's great. But yeah, so that's available online. It doesn't submit anything. It's locally JavaScript. And then there's also this extension, which I won't run because that's the password I actually use. So yeah, there's ways of doing it on your computer, but since it is in your clipboard, you can paste it into any UI text field. So that's my password for paste it.
Does the one online generate the same ones as
Yep.
the?
So I think I just typed in this there. So that was 40 something CV. Same exact one.
So it's cool that you have like a string password. You can like upgrade that. I mean, there's like beyond security, like Android, moving in some direction thing. And then there's like, I don't know, like Windows 8 is doing it where you can have a picture and depending on where you touch the picture, that would be a password. And then you can mix that with the string and then use that.
I see what you're getting at. It's an interesting idea.
I'll just have to go like that and copy.
I'll look into that. Yeah, that's an interesting idea.
The password is directly at the output of the hash function.
And it's cut down to 16 characters.
Okay. But meaning that the only letters that will appear in it are A through F, since it outputs the hexadecimal.
Yes.
Okay. Even though most passwords would be capable of using at least 0 through 9, A through Z, capitals, I guess.
Right. And yeah, numbers as well. But yeah, unfortunately, what happened was I made the web interface first, and because I didn't change that, it's I don't want to change that because then it'll change all the passwords.
Okay.
So I'm trying to think of maybe some way of like migrating over to that
Like getting backwards
without making it too complicated. But I think it's still pretty secure, but I'm definitely taking that into consideration.
Yeah, we'll take 2 more questions and okay.
What happens if you hit up against like a password policy, like needs an exclamation mark or something? Are you just like scrutinizing?
Yeah, that's another thing that I'm worried about. There's actually like a few things that do that, where it only limits me to 12 characters, so my maximum password can only be 12 characters, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I've been kind of in that situation, and unfortunately just have to like delete characters.
And
It's really bad. Which, I don't know exactly how I'm going to fix that without
storing. Was it any question? Yeah. You have the same question. Okay. So, thanks, Matt.